Well, good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News. Hope everyone's having a lovely day and that you've had a marvelous evening as well. First of all, today we're going to be getting into some tweets that I wanted to go over. Looks like someone in the truth movement has decided to hang up their hat. We've also got some video which appears to show the Pope's hologram glitching out. Very strange stuff. We're going to be going through some information from the new posts from our favorite Anon. We've got an update from Methods on President Trump's epic presser from yesterday. We've got new information on the investigation into John Brennan and the Spygate controversy, along with some new thoughts from Attorney General William Barr on that situation. And then finally, we have a Democratic state rep from Georgia who has broken with his party and endorsed President Trump for president. It is an incredible day. We're going to go over all of this and more, so please do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. The recent situation with CV-19 is reminding everyone of how easy things can go from bad to worse. Shortages of guns, ammo, toilet paper, and other essentials have strained the country and caused panic buying. The sad part is that 99% of Americans are unprepared for a catastrophic event. But this doesn't have to be you, and one of the best things you can invest in for your protection is a Patriot Survival Kit. The Patriot Kit contains everything you need when there's an emergency situation, like a natural disaster or a wilderness adventure. It perfectly fits for people who love hiking, hunting, wilderness survival, and more. It's a great gift idea for an outdoor adventurer, hiker, or camper. Limited supplies are available, and this is the very last chance to get yours at a discount before they sell out. So take advantage now and give you and your family the gift of power anywhere in the world. Please visit www.thepatriotkit.com and take advantage of their 50% off special. Once again, that's www.thepatriotkit.com. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around. First of all, today I wanted to show you this tweet from Amazing Polly. She says simply, "I quit. Good luck." Now, only Polly is privy to the machinations of her own mind, and I don't know why she decided to say she quit, but something tells me that I bet she's going to come back in probably not too long at all. So keep an eye out on this one, because I tend to think we're going to see her back very soon. All right, next we have a tweet from President Trump, and he is back at it talking about the necessity of a voter ID and how likely it is that ballot harvesting and mail-in ballots are going to be used to commit fraud. He says, "Get rid of ballot harvesting. It is rampant with fraud. The U.S. must have voter ID, the only way to get an honest count." Now, I want you to keep an eye on this issue right here, because the closer we get to November, the more the Dems are going to start pushing for this as a necessity. And if they force the country to stay in shutdown mode for much longer, you're going to see it actually used in quite a few states, I would imagine. I can tell you that in Virginia, Governor Northam just did away with the voter ID law and put something like this into play so that they could steal the election down there. Perhaps he's worried about whether or not him and his cronies are going to be able to lawfully get back into office. But as stated previously in a post from our favorite Anon, voter ID equals death of D party. So this is something that we all need to push our elected representatives on. President Trump is out there beating the drums. This is a must-have for returning sovereignty to America and getting rid of these career politicians who want nothing more than to line their own pockets. Now, next is what is potentially the weirdest video I've seen in a long time. We have what appears to be a burner account from someone named Bernie on the Bus. It says, "I just made this burner account to post this. I filmed this on my local news network, and I wanted everyone to just see what I saw and potentially provide an explanation." And then he leaves a ton of hashtags relevant to this movement. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video. It's only 9 seconds long, but I think we're going to watch it a few times so everybody gets a look at what is happening. All right, so he has it marked here, "Nothing is real. Pope disappears into thin air." Let's take a look.
It just disappears.
It goes bye-bye.
Also juggling taking care of their children.
Dude, is it not?
Blink.
Oh my God.
We're going to turn the volume off. Now take a look. The Pope is standing at the window on the parapet, waving. He turns around, and poof, he's gone. Poof, he's gone. Now, what type of technology could be used to make it appear as if the Pope is standing on this balcony waving to the crowd, and then he turns around and it just goes away. This looks to be a very lifelike hologram, and the Pope clearly just disappears. You guys, anyone who might have any explanation for this and can help me out, I would certainly appreciate it. I can think of no rational explanation other than the Pope is not there on the balcony, and when he turns around, they flip the hologram off a little too quickly. I think they probably did not expect anyone to get this footage because it kind of gives away their hand. What if the Pope isn't even there anymore? What if he is no longer with us? Or perhaps what if he is so sick that he's unable to fulfill his duties? Either way, this is not the first time that we've seen a glitch like this. Think back to the 2016 election when HRC was supposed to be standing on a stage giving us a speech talking about wanting to be president, and she kept glitching out the entire time. It was like she wasn't there. She was on a green screen and they were just doing a composite. This looks to me to be something a little bit more sophisticated. So, like I said, anybody has any information, please set it up, give it to me. I want to talk about this and I want to know what's going on. Now, in the comments, there's of course a lot of talk about Project Bluebeam. And if this is a hologram, I don't know if anyone here has ever seen a hologram in person, but they only work from a particular direction. The effect is ruined if you're looking at it from an incorrect angle. So here is another media company taking video of this, and it shows the Pope turning around and he walks straight back in and he doesn't disappear. Let's take a look at this. You can see he turns around, walks back, steps down, and there he goes. Okay, so this is obviously from straight on. This would make the illusion perfect, but from the angle that the other footage was filmed from, that could be why it was imperfect and why he appeared to disappear. Now let's take a look real quick at a slow motion video of the first one. Okay, so this is extremely slow. Turns around and you can actually see him fade out. It's a quick fade, but it happens. Poof, he's gone. So, yeah, I want to know, how does this work and how are they putting this illusion on? Because it is not a real person walking around. People just don't disappear. Now, this is a post on Twitter that was shared by our favorite Anon. It shows some video of Sean Hannity on his program last night, and the person who posted it is at @M_Revere USA. Sean Hannity is rocking the Punisher lapel pin on his right lapel. 5x5, Paine coming, Durham is the Punisher. And he's got this great meme, X-ray of John Durham. And then here is the actual video. I'm going to make it larger so you guys can see. He's got his Clowns in America pin. He's got his other pin with the American flag and some other symbol on it. I don't know what that is, but over here clearly is the Punisher. I mean, make no mistake. This is the first time I've seen Sean Hannity wear the Punisher pin. I think this is a direct signal to communicate what's going on, considering the fact that we just had that reveal of Durham and his investigation, the grand jury indictments, and John Brennan being the focal point of that investigation. Now, I also want to point out that the video of Sean Hannity wearing that lapel pin was tweeted out by none other than President Donald Trump. So we have a Punisher message set inside a message from President Trump, and I absolutely love it. Thank you very much, Red-Blooded Patriot Cute one time, for sharing this video. Now, POTUS had his daily CV-19 press briefing yesterday, and apparently it was epic. He was in rare form, he was not taking any guff, and we've got a clip here from my good friend and fellow researcher Methods, so let's go ahead and take a look.
On China, why are there no consequences for China for the misinformation that they shared?
How do you know there are no consequences?
We've been asked, and
how do you know there are no consequences?
What are the consequences, Mr. President,
I
for the
wouldn't tell you.
misinformation?
China will find out.
But
Why would I tell you?
People are concerned that they stonewall.
No, you started off by saying, why are there no
misinformation.
consequences?
You've asked this a few times, so follow up on your response. Why are there no
How
consequences
do you
for
know
China?
there are no
Because
consequences?
we asked you,
You're
and
going to
you've
find
said-
out.
you've said
I
that you
wouldn't
did
tell
not.
you. You'd probably be the last person on earth I'd tell.
There will
Go
be
ahead.
consequences.
Oh, I absolutely love it. Not taking any guff from the MSM. You know, it's great when you can take a look and see their maneuvering, okay? So you've got all these people pushing this propaganda for that country, and then you've got her asking President Trump why there's no consequences. Well, guess what? You wouldn't know because we don't broadcast our moves to our enemies. And like he said, she would probably be the very last person that would learn about it, and she's going to have to find out once there's a press release talking about the exact things that are going to take place in response to the lying that was done by Xi and his folks. So another epic move President Trump pulled yesterday. This is a tweet from my buddy Steve Lundgren. He says, this is the supercut video President real Donald Trump just played during the CV-19 briefing. It includes clips of MSNBC and CNN downplaying CV-19, New York Times Maggie Haberman defending his China travel ban, and Governors Cuomo and Newsom praising his administration's response. So during the briefing, what he did was put together a supercut of the press basically saying that we had nothing to worry about. There was no reason to shut down the country, that this was all going to blow over. And it goes to show the propaganda used by them to try to screw with the American people. First of all, President Trump can never do anything right. President Trump can say one thing and the press will say another. President Trump, if he changes his mind on something or he changes course, the press is going to attack him for it. And here, this is an excellent example of how the press has been used time and time again to try to sway the mood of the American public. And they've been lying. Remember the hashtag Trump lied, people died? Well, the mainstream media lied, and I would say that people are no longer with us as a result. We've got people like Dr. Fauci out there saying that he told Trump this or that way back in January. Well, we also have the clips of Dr. Fauci talking and saying that there was no need to do anything, that travel with China could continue. But then later on in February, he changed his tune and he tried to backdate his opinion and then say President Trump didn't listen to him, and as a result, we lost more American lives. Let's go ahead and take a look at a bit of this clip.
Thank you.
People should be more concerned right now with the flu in this country.
A lot of people are concerned about the coronavirus because they're hearing a lot of news about it right now. But the reality is, comparing it to the flu, for example, it's not even close to being at that stage.
What if it is worse? Is this a moment where maybe countries put politics aside, a little bit of pride aside, and do we have U.S. officials, should U.S. professionals such as yourself get involved?
How worried should Americans be about coronavirus?
Coronavirus is not going to cause a major issue in the United States.
All right, we're going to stop it right there because this goes on for almost 4 minutes. But it goes to show you the press said one thing at the time. They were not in favor of the actions that President Trump was taking to try to stop the flow of whatever this is. And now that President Trump has been successful in his efforts to lock down the country and stop the spread, flatten that curve, if you will, the media is now attacking him, saying that he didn't do enough fast enough and that American blood is on his hands. Well, they are complete and total propaganda maniac. Project Mockingbird, mark my words. We know all about it. They were absolutely livid to have their own words used against them, and the chyron on CNN was just exploding. Heads at the production office of these various companies were absolutely on fire. They couldn't believe that President Trump would take their words and flip the script and use it against them, which is very ironic because it's the kind of thing that they do on a daily basis. Now, this takes us directly into a post from our favorite Anon, which I want to tie together government and media. Now, keep in mind all the time we have leaks coming out to the mainstream media, which seem to be coming from within the administration. Well, we're reminded that the D Party and the mainstream media are deeply interconnected, and that would also include people still within this government, as holdovers from past administrations must also still be connected. Now, we have 9 sets of couples right here, people who are married. One of them was either in government or is currently in government, and the other is someone who works for a news organization. Now, we're told there are missing 29 connections on the national level. That means there are another 29 sets of people who are either in government or were and are still working for mainstream media. But even more shocking, at local levels, we have 98 missing connections. Now, we're going to jump to a couple of the newer posts because it is kind of a reverse type of information warfare like President Trump just used in that press conference. First, here in post 3956, we have a reminder from post 694 about cures for diseases that exist. And we're told that at the time this was posted, hydroxychloroquine was one of them. Now, the next post, 3957, talks about the non-disclosure agreement, which was signed when the Drudge Report was sold to a foreign entity. I'm sure that everyone remembers that the Drudge Report was formerly a conservative news aggregation service which supported President Trump and his mission. Now, we're asked, when does the NDA expire regarding Drudge Report sale to foreign entity? Think 2020 election, presidential election, +1. Now, is that +1 year or +1 election? Removal, blackout coming of pro-POTUS accounts. So is that going to be happening on social media? I would think so. When by any means necessary. All assets will be deployed this election. Sleepers, pro, will shift position. Nay. Paul Ryan, Fox. Paul Ryan clearly would be one of those sleeper agents, but I urge you guys to consider the fact that these sleeper agents are probably working on social media right now. And I would say that this is probably also very, very likely what's been taking place in recent weeks. We've seen kind of an uptick of negative sentiment online, and I do believe that these people are working, as I've stated before, sleeper agents from places like Media Matters, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were foreign intelligence services as well as domestic. Now, the next post, 3958, information warfare. And then we go to a very, very important post. Let's take a look at this in depth. We have an article which is from Fox News, and it's talking about State Department cables which tell of the origins of CV-19, and it is exactly where we thought it came from. And the post continues, some leaks destroy the mainstream media narrative. Who benefits the most? And then we have a Tom Fitton Twitter status. Let's take a look at the article and the status from Tom Fitton. Well, this is an article published just 5 hours ago by Fox News, and its title is State Department Leaked Cables, Renew Theories on Origins of CV-19. Now, apparently the U.S. sounded the alarm on that lab in Wuhan about 2 years ago, and these cables obtained by the Washington Post warned about the safety and security of those CV-19 testing on bats in China in 2018. Now, the laboratory at the center of new theories, they say, about how the CV-19 began was the subject of multiple urgent warnings inside the U.S. State Department 2 years ago. U.S. Embassy officials warned in January 2018 about inadequate safety at the Wuhan Institute of Virology lab and passed on information about scientists conducting risky research on CV-19 from bats. Now, these cables have brought renewed mainstream speculation inside the U.S. government about whether this lab was the source of the novel CV, although no firm connection has yet been established. However, this has gained traction in recent days, and if you've been watching anyone doing honest reporting on this, it had traction from the very beginning. Now, just before we get this information about the leak, which destroys the mainstream media narrative, we're told information warfare. That's why I've often called this a new Cold War, because that's exactly what we're engaged in. Now, Tom Fitton says that the State Department FOIA office is also shut down due to CV-19. They were told to wait indefinitely now on all requests for Spygate abuses of President Trump and the Biden scandal docs. So Biden conveniently will be protected from any Ukraine Burisma disclosures. Now, again, who benefits the most? Now, clearly in this instance, Uncle Joe and the MSM are the ones who benefit because they're not going to have to cover any of these disclosures and nothing will come out which will further tarnish the reputation of Uncle Joe. But with the release of these State Department cables, clearly President Trump and the American people are the ones who benefit the most. Now, the next post is entitled Pain and Panic, and it is featuring an article from Fox News, also from 3 hours ago, which says ex-Clinton lawyer threatens to sue Nevada unless ballot harvesting is permitted. On the same day, President Trump calls for an end to ballot harvesting. These people are panicking, and they are in pain because the Punisher is on his way. And Democratic presidential candidates Joe Biden and others would absolutely have no opportunity to win unless something like ballot harvesting is permitted and voters are not required to use a voter ID. The integrity of our election system is of the paramount importance in terms of what's taking place in this country right now. And mark my words, they will stop at nothing to ensure the victory of their candidates and the destruction of President Trump and thereby the American people. Now, the last post that's come out since I started recording is the meme that President Trump and Dan Scavino put out. President Trump playing the violin. My next piece is called Nothing Can Stop What's Coming. And it says, you are witnessing the systematic destruction of the old guard. You guys, we have absolutely nothing to fear. The future is preordained because this mission has been a go for many, many years. They've been working very hard behind the scenes. So much has happened that we have absolutely no idea, can barely even comprehend it yet. But I think that when it comes down to it, the point of this is a train that cannot be stopped. We are systematically deconstructing everything that has been in place here in the United States, which was designed to keep the American people held down and to ensure the victory of their preferred candidates. President Trump will win a second term, and the swamp will be drained. Now, just to put anyone's mind at ease that may not feel so comfy about the situation, I just want to take you back one more time to the statements that Bill Barr made last week. Now, this article coming from The Hill entitled AG Barr Just Signaled That Things Are About to Get Ugly for the Russian Collusion Team. Now, remember, Attorney General Barr used the word travesty. It is usually applied to gross perversions of justice, and that is exactly the context in which Attorney General Barr used that word while getting that interview done with Laura Ingraham. His composed, understated delivery almost disguised the weighty magnitude of that disturbing word and the loaded adjective that preceded it. I think what happened to him, he said, referring to the president and the FBI's counterintelligence investigation into his campaign, was one of the greatest travesties in American history. And I just want to take you back one more time to the investigation of John Durham into the origins of the Spygate investigation, the crimes committed against American citizens, the illegal coup that was put into place to try to remove President Trump, to try to stop him from becoming president before it even got to the point where they had to start a coup, and the actions of the FBI and the people within our own government who broke the law, destroyed and trampled all over the Constitution. They will get what's coming to them, and the investigation is now coming to a close. John Brennan being the focus of it, his intel chiefs already deposed, the grand juries already impaneled. All we need do is wait, because nothing can stop what is coming. And finally today, in a sign of what's to come, the country is turning around. People are seeing the job that President Trump is doing, and they are getting behind him. They are rallying behind him. People who previously would never have thought to endorse the president now are doing just that. Democratic Georgia state rep breaks from the party, slams Biden, and endorses President Trump's re-election. This right here is Democratic Georgia Representative Vernon Jones, and he has defied the party by endorsing President Trump. He said that Biden's policies devastated a generation of African-American families. And just today, this morning, he endorsed President Trump, praising the president for the economy, criminal justice reform, and his support for historically black colleges. Now, all you have to do is take a genuine look at the president, the job he's been doing, his policies, and who they have benefited, and it becomes extremely obvious who you need to vote for come November 2020. Thank you so much to Vernon Jones for having the courage to stand up against your own party, and I want you to know that the Republican Party is here for you should you want to swap allegiances. All right, guys, I don't know about you, but I feel great taking a look at the country, seeing the direction that President Trump is taking us despite all of the roadblocks put in our way, and witnessing the fruition of the Durham investigation. Man, I am on top of the world. I think that's all I've got for you today, folks. I want to thank everyone for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless. Hey guys, one more thing. It's Red Pill. I just want to say thank you once again to everybody that has helped to support the channel. If you'd like to get involved, you can go ahead and check the show notes in the pinned comment and the description. There's always good information in there. I've got a couple of backup channels. I ask that you go ahead and subscribe to them, because if anything does happen here, I will start publishing there. And if you want things like merchandise or anything else, there is a bunch of information that you can find right below this video. All right, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.